Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hockey fans of all ages. Thank you for joining me, Dave Valente, on the Scabbard. So, 3 games into the season, 3 goals. We're on an 82 goal pace for the season, which is, of course, not good. Uh, it's been a rough season so far. Um, there have been flashes that this team can be very competitive. They just can't score to save their lives. They couldn't score in a Turkish prison with a fistful of pardons at this point. Uh, and eventually, I think this is going to resolve itself. But every game that the Sabres fail to score adequately, again, makes the pressure on Kevin Adams that much tighter because, again, it was, they get rid of Jeff Skinner. And, we can debate the Jeff Skinner move all day long, but they had cap space to bring somebody in to address the top six. His idea of promoting from within. And we've got offensive talent. We do. Um, Especially young offensive talent, but young offensive talent is inconsistent. Um, Unless you're, a top flight offensive talent like a, Macklin Celebrini or something along those lines. These guys do take time to hit their stride in the NHL level. So we've already had a game today here in the NHL this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Boston defeated Los Angeles, who beat us on Thursday night 2-1 in overtime. David Pastrnak goal got the win for the Bruins. The rest of the schedule is a busy night tonight, of course, being Saturday. So we've got 7 o'clock starts. All these times are Eastern, of course. Pittsburgh is going to be in Toronto for the first hockey night in Canada, along with Ottawa and Montreal. Nashville will be in Detroit. Utah will be at the New York Rangers after getting their second win against the Islanders the other night. The New Jersey Devils will be in Washington to take on the Capitals at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Islanders will be in Dallas to take on the Stars. Seattle will be taking on the Minnesota Wild at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Blue Jackets will be in Denver to take on the Colorado Avalanche. And then a trio games at 10 o'clock for the second game of hockey night in Canada. Probably going to be that Philadelphia Calgary game. Although it might be the Chicago Edmonton game. I got a couple choices there for the hockey night in Canada game. But yeah, Philadelphia is in Calgary. They got a win last night in a shootout over Vancouver. Chicago taking on Edmonton, and then Anaheim and San Jose. The NorCal SoCal series starts early this season. Macklin Celebrini got a goal in his first game, so even though it was a loss. We'll see how the young phenom does against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, or whatever they call themselves now. All right, let's talk about last game. The offense was offensive. We played. I honestly think that the Sabres did play well enough to win. They controlled large portions of that game. Problem is their power play is awful, absolutely inept. They had a 5-on-3 early, did not score on the 5-on-3, overpassed the puck, not enough pucks to the net, and weren't getting to the rebounds. Um, and still are, I think, over for the season for power play goals. The 3rd period, started out poorly with Rasmus Dahlin giving up the puck behind the net. And Andrei Kopitar was fed in the slot for a one-timer that beat Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Again, this game was not on Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. The Sabres really failed him again, second night in a row. Luukkonen put up a very solid effort and was not rewarded. And you got to feel for the guy because again, Sabres' lack of scoring is not on Luukkonen, and some questionable penalty calls towards the end of the game. The Kings capitalize on their 5-on-3, and Kopitar ends up with the hat trick with an empty net goal to end the game. Um, but yeah, the it was a frustrating game to watch. But it does feel like one of those, when a team is on a losing streak, they have that last game before the end of the losing streak, they play well enough to win, they just don't. And that kind of had this game kind of had that feeling that Sabres are putting it together. It's just that the scoring is not there yet. Um, and maybe they're due for an explosion. But tonight's opponent is not the easiest team to have an explosion against, although it is a little bit easier tonight. We'll talk about that in a moment. Florida Panthers, they're 1-1 on the season. They beat Boston in the opener, looked really good doing it. And then lost to Ottawa 3-1 in game two. Linus Olmark getting a really good performance in that game two victory, and it was very costly for the Florida Panthers. They lost both Matthew Tkachuk for he's listed as day to day, and Alexander Sasha Barkov is out a few weeks now. He tried to prevent an empty net goal and slid into the end boards, injuring his leg, so he's going to be out a couple weeks. So it leaves a couple roster spots, big roster spots for the Sabres because Barkov is a wonderful center, and Kachuk is that agitating straw that stirs the drink for the Florida Panthers. So these are two huge holes in the lineup in that those top lines. So um, Sabres have a chance tonight. They do have a chance to do well tonight. They're meeting a Florida Panthers team that may be a little shaken, and we're going to see how the lineup shakes out when we take a look at the lineups here in a moment. The three keys to the game, I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory. Convert your chances. You're setting up stuff. It's all about you know outworking the defenders in the zone down low towards the net, getting those second chance points. And Alex Tuckett did have a good goal. He got a second chance point off of a shorthanded attempt. So it was nice to see that. And we can talk about Zach Benson's disallowed goal, but yeah, few and far between. You got to convert your chances, and they haven't been. They need to play a full 60 minutes. While the first two periods were firmly in Buffalo's control, and I thought the first two periods of game two were also in Buffalo's control. The third period did not work out. So Buffalo's got to be able to play a full 60 minutes and get full 60 minutes efforts out of all their players, especially their captain. That mistake that he made at the beginning of the third period is inexcusable. He was very careless with the puck, and sometimes that happens with Darlene. Darlene does have his moments where he's very careless with the puck, and of course, cleaning up the defensive mistakes. There are still lots of opportunities where the other team gets breakaways, and they're not tracking that third man high coming into the zone, um, like Kopitar on the first goal in the last game. So, all right, let's take a look at the Panthers forwards for tonight. The lineup as provided by Daily Faceoff. This is a there may be changes as we get closer to the drop of the puck. The lineups are have probably be officially turned in moments. But Eetu Luostarinen, Anton Lundell, and Sam Reinhart. Reinhart being the only holdover on that first line due to the injuries, but Luostarinen and Lundell move up to center and play wing on that first line. Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Bennett, and Evan Rodriguez will fill out the second line. Let's see, what is Greer's name? Because he was a fourth liner last time. AJ Greer will be playing with Jesper Boquist. There's two Boquists on this team. So Jesper Boquist will be playing center on that third line with Samoskevich, Mackie Samoskevich, rookie for the Panthers. Yona Gadjevich will be on the third line with Patrick Giles and Nate Schmidt, a defenseman normally, but I think due to the roster issues that Schmidt will be pressed into third line roles, or maybe they're just going to do 12 or seven defensemen, 11 forward lineup. Um, so the defensive pairs for the Panthers, we've got Forsling and Ekblad, Nico Mikola, and Dmitry Kulikov, former Sabre Alert, along with Sam Reinhart and Evan Rodriguez. Rookie Uvis Balinskis, Latvian rookie, will be on the third pair with Adam Boquist, the other Boquist in the game. So two Boquist lunch here. And then Panthers goaltenders tonight will get Spencer Knight coming in to play a game. You can tell when teams don't respect you when you start seeing their backups. So yeah, Spencer Knight is the goaltender tonight. The Sabres are finding their way, and I don't know what they're doing with their goaltenders, but the Sabres forwards tonight will be much like last game. There we go. Benson, Thompson, Tuck on the first line, Cooley, Cousins, and Quinn. There needs to be more of that second line. We're really wasn't too noticeable in that game last week. Greenway, McLeod, and Zucker had a decent game. Malenstein, Krebs, and Lafferty on the fourth line. The defensive pairs, much like every other game, Darlene Jokiharju, Byron Power, and Samuelson Clifton. This was a recent change, so I didn't have time to update the graphic. But Devin Levi is actually going to be starting tonight's game instead of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Again, I don't think Thursday night was on Luukkonen at all. It was on the Sabres failure to score and clean up their defensive zone late in the game, and questionable penalties, of course, towards the end of the game. That roughing penalty that was it Zucker who got that at the towards the end of the third period was questionable. Yes, when the stick breaks on a slashing motion, you're going to get a called on that one. So that call was not as horrible, although you can make an argument that he was really leaning on the stick when that motion came down, and that's what broke it. But Sabres get the lose to the 5-on-3 with is actually I think it was a 5-on-4 goal because Zucker just come out of the box. But Kopitar getting the goal on the 5-on-4 to be the game-winning goal, and then scoring the empty netter to end the game. So Levi in tonight. I guess Ruff is trying to find which goaltender will take the reins. I don't think, again, in any of these four losses, I am laying at these three losses, I'm laying at the feet of the goaltenders. They played well enough to win. The team is just not playing well enough to win. Tonight's odds per DraftKings: play responsibly. Play responsibly. Don't be like me. Well, I don't play, so I guess I am responsible. Buffalo is once again a goal and a half underdog. They are there's an over/under of 6. The money line is Buffalo plus 124. So if you want to play. I don't care if it's DraftKings or any other whatever is available to you in your state, but just play responsibly. On this date, October 12th, 2015, I actually watched this game. Jack Eichel scored an unassisted game-winning goal in the three-goal third period as Buffalo beat Columbus 4-2. For Dan Bilesma's first win as Sabres coach, it was Jack Eichel's rookie season as well. Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson stopped 22 of 24 shots in the win. Um, it was actually a really nice goal that Eichel got. He stripped the Columbus player from behind and went in and beat the Sergei Bobrovsky, not our opponent tonight, but he's on the Florida Panthers, um, for that goal, giving the Sabres the win that night. So uh, hopefully we'll get Lindy Ruff his first win in his second stint as Buffalo's coach tonight. The week ahead, we've got Wednesday night. This is a TNT game. I don't mind TNT's callers, but like the NHL Network stuff from last week, I'm not a real fan of EJ Raddick as a play-by-play guy. Um, and ESPN usually when Buffalo plays, they've got John Buccigross on it, and I hate John Buccigross as a play-by-player. So, TNT's generally got some decent, play-by-play guys. So, probably won't cringe too much watching the game. Wednesday night in Pittsburgh. This is a road week for the Sabres, their first not really first significant road trip because they were in Czechia, but, first trio of domestic road games. They're gonna be in Columbus on Thursday and Saturday versus the Chicago Blackhawks in Chi-Town. So, busy week ahead for the Sabres. 3 games coming up, all on the road. They need to figure things out because the road. I mean, the Sabres have done okay on the road in the last few seasons. Their home play has been awful, and currently they're 0-2 on home ice technically because one of the overseas games counted as a home game. So our next episode is going to be Wednesday night at 6 p.m. as we take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh is kind of at a crossroads, but it feels like they've been at a crossroads for several seasons now. Are they going to, when are they going to strip it down and move on from not move on from the Sidney Crosby area? Because I don't think they're ever going to trade Sidney Crosby, but they're gonna have to figure out what's next with this team, I think they put this on off too long for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But we'll talk more about that on Wednesday night's episode of the Scabbard. If you want to become a co-host, reach out to me on socials, DM me on socials, or send me an email. I'll be happy to discuss how to get involved, how to do restream, and all that fun stuff, and we'll talk hockey. And that's it for the show tonight. Go watch Sabres live with Marty and Duffer, their pregame show, or listen to WGR with Paul Hamilton and Brian Koziel as they get set up for tonight's game against the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Hopefully, we can get a win and get off the schneid and get this season rolling. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching.